Good afternoon, dear Invader fans. As I promised, here is now the origin of Invader, the bio of Invader. Okay, I'm gonna try and do it as fast as possible because I don't, it's a lot of things I have to say and I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, I got saved in 1986. I was into worldly bands, secular bands like The Police, Adam and the Ants, Blondie, Nazareth. I got saved and I felt convicted that that music is not really good to listen to, and I thought I went to church and everything while listening to this music, and some other Christians told me you shouldn't listen to that, it's got a bad influence on you. And I thought, now what must I listen to then? They said, no, listen to alternative stuff like so and so and so. But all they could offer me is things, artists like Don Francisco, and I can't even remember what the other guys was, but they played very boring music. It wasn't my style of music at all. And then I discovered Christian rock, and the first album I bought this tape. I remember at the church I went to a bookshop after the service. It was an old album of Jerusalem, the band Jerusalem, of the early 80s with songs like Bye Bye World, Wake Up, and the likes like that. I took this tape and I played it to. I went to a Bible study in the south of Joburg, then I played it to the people there, and they said, this is straight out of the pit of hell. It's not of God, it's like the devil trying to keep you in the world with a worldly beat. Okay, and then I became one of, believe it or not, I make a Christian metal with Invader, but then I believed like Christian rock and metal was of the devil, and I would speak out when people talk to me about it. It's not good, it's out of hell. Okay, and then I went to another church, and I went to a home cell there, and the home cell leader there introduced me again to Christian rock. And he told me that's not true. Christian rock is not of the devil. They want to get people saved for Jesus, for the kingdom. They sing about Jesus. It's not. He introduced me like bands like Petra, Lifesavers, and the likes like that. Okay, so and Larry Normal also had a famous saying which went, "Why should the devil have all the good music?" And a lot of other artists also who got saved also had the same motto. Why should the devil have all the good music? And they made good music and even better music for Jesus. Okay, so, I was then introduced to a band called the Lifesavers. Now, they were new wave punk kind of stuff in the early 80s. I also got introduced to Petra. Now, I went to this shop called Grace Music. That I was told about this shop that specialized in Christian rock and metal and just Christian music. And not too far from, say about 6 kilometers from where I stay. And I bought me the first Petra tape. It was taped. And here I got the CD Beyond Belief. I got this one on tape. And then I got a copy of this one, This Means War. I really loved this band, Petra, and I tried to get as much albums as I could. And I also got another album from them called Petra Praise the Rock Cries Out, with a song in the beginning called I Love the Lord. I really loved that, and it's actually, they mainly sing praise songs in their own rock manner, but I really loved Petra, and they really did a lot for me. And I knew this was not of the devil, this was to praise Jesus. Then when I went to the Grace Music Shop that first time, I remember all that, I saw a lot of Christian metal there. I saw this band Believer on record, which was very big, with a scary cover. Now this you can clearly see is, I would say this is a believer too late. He's already somewhere in hell or somewhere where he can't get out anymore. And now he is a believer, but it's too late. It's actually a scary cover. But anyway, I saw that, but I was a bit afraid of this because I'm not used to, because, I wasn't really into metal before I got saved. I thought, there were so many Christian metal bands. And I thought, what is this? But it was actually very good. And I got introduced to it more and more. So I went a bit heavier. and somebody borrowed me this on records, Res Silent Screams, and also Res Live Bootleg 1983. So I listened to that. Then I got me Bloodgood, very good Christian band. And then I started get me a compilation albums like this, compilation tapes, and this had bands like White Cross, Barren Cross, David Safir Zion, Deliverance, which is very, very heavy. And there's a band, Jerusalem, Dancing on the Head of the Serpent, and I love this song. So I wanted to get Jerusalem again, but I couldn't get Jerusalem. It was so hard to get. I wanted to get the full album of the Dancing on the Head of the Serpent. And I remember saw it at a shop once, but I didn't buy it. And was I sorry I didn't buy it, because now I couldn't find it anymore. I also get me, because I went actually on a hunt for that album, Dancing on the Head of the Serpent, and I went to secular shops as well. Now, of the secular shops have their Christian sections, but sometimes they have Christian music between their secular music, and I was looking for that, but I couldn't find it, but I found this, Metal Mission. Now, this is a compilation LP, with bands like Ex-Sinner, Sacred Warrior, Believer, Angelica, and Vengeance. Then I could hear how that scary band Believer sounds. It was brilliant, and I also got introduced to Vengeance Rising. Okay. Then I wanted one of those very heavy ones, but it wasn't in stock as usual. I was so tired to hear everything, it's still coming, we can order it for you. And that's not to say it's going to be the next day, it's going to take some time. And then I got me one of the bands on there they had in stock with this one, the Lead Burners record. I got this on cassette. Heavy, heavy stuff. Okay. Then later I got me this one on cassette, Believer, Extraction from Mortality. And also I got introduced to Vengeance. Now here, Vengeance, you can see, you see the one side look like heaven and the bottom hell. The top looks like heaven and the bottom hell. You see in the bottom they lost, and between the graves and the top, they standing free. Good cover. And then also got me this album on cassette, Destruction Comes. Now this, I really like the drumming on this. This is excellent. It's progressive. I would encourage you to go and listen to this. Now you don't have to download anything or go and buy a CD or a tape. Just go on YouTube and type in Vengeance, Destruction Comes. It is very, very heavy music and hectic. Maybe you'll find it way too hectic, but listen to the drum playing. Go to each track and just listen a bit and skip. Listen and skip, listen and skip, listen and skip. You'll love it. Well, the drum playing, especially if you like good drumming. Okay. And then, you know, now since I'm into this music, and I'm musical myself. I went for guitar lessons, and so I thought it's time for me to start making this music myself. So I got me the white metal guitar. Right. The white metal guitar, the Invader guitar. Okay, and then I went to a youth meeting, and they I met up with Guy, Nigel, and Brian. We started a band called Faith Force. Now, we sort of jammed together and worked on a little bit of material, but it really didn't work out. We were going to call it Faith Force. There was no recording, nothing happened. Then Nigel moved to the Cape because he got a job that side. So Cape is the other side of Johannesburg, of the country where I stay. And then I started jamming with a guy, another guy. He was a drummer. And I started writing material with him, but then he got married and he got into his married life. He got very busy. I met him at a place called The Rock. It actually was a home fellowship group that a guy held from his home. It was for punks, goths, metalheads, skinheads, people that a normal society wouldn't accept. So I met him over there. Now, there was also, I was into Mortification as well. I was introduced to Mortification, which was about the heaviest Christian death metal band in those days. Talking about now 84, 85. Then I heard there was a local South African Christian death metal band called Golgotha. And I went to see Golgotha live. And at the show they were giving away demos, or not giving, they were selling them, but they made these demo tapes. And I thought to myself, if they can do it, I bought one and I was quite impressed by it. The recording wasn't very good at all, but they did it. And I thought, if they can do something like that, I can also record something like that. Okay. Now, that Home Fellowship, the Home Fellowship leader had his own blues band called Hippies Gone Fishing. Now, on the cover of this, he made the demo tape, and on the cover of the demo tape was like a man catching another man with a fishing rod. Like the Bible says, we will be fishers of men, which was very clever. And they were like hippie-like people, not like the normal society would accept, see as a Christian, to put it that way. And they had his own, it wasn't the official label that they made for that release of that demo. They made a record label called Stomped Cockroach Records. Now, doesn't I thought it was quite funny, but it doesn't sound very Christian, except if you maybe will say it's the devil that's the stomped cockroach, then it's good. So I decided I'm gonna make my own label too, and I I thought I would like to do something much more appropriate, much more that sounds more acceptable. And I thought, making rock and heavy metal for Jesus is quite exciting, so I started Excitement Records. This is no official label, it's just my own. When I release something, I put it on Excitement Records. Now there you can see a guitar drum, but it's not very well done. And the one side says Excitement, the other side Records. Okay, that's my label. Okay, so I decided this is now time for me to record my first demo. Now, okay, now since it didn't work out with the other people, I was all by myself, and I started a one-man band. So I had this like small Casio keyboard with a small key still, and I used a drum machine of that. I would plug it into my Samick amp, and it came out very loud. I would record that on a tape and play it back through a big hi-fi system. And then I would jam to that with my guitar into the Samick amp through I had a Boss Metal Zone Boss pedal. And I would jam to that and record that again. And that was how I did my demos. Very unprofessional, not good sound, but still clear enough to hear what's going on and enjoy. So I started, then I did my first demo. You can see I did 8 songs. The first was the song White Metal, and then number 2, We Want to See Revival, The Challenge, Save Me From Myself, Not Against Flesh and Blood, Elijah Prayed, High Like an Eagle, and Standing Up. 8 songs. Okay. Now the logo. I was working at the abattoir in the day, and sometimes we were, when these cattle got slain, they would send them in a group, and sometimes you have to wait for the next group. Then you sit around doing nothing, and I would sit in the office. My work was I was a meat official. That means I would weigh these carcasses and take the weights and monitor and register all in a computer system. It was very old, many years ago, but then in between you did nothing, so I decided to get creative and make a logo. And there you can see the I is small, it's getting bigger till the middle where the A is, and then small again. And it looks also something like a Space Invader or something with a heart in the middle. That means to catch souls for Jesus. Now, why the name Invader? Now, that's a very, very good question. Now, Invader doesn't sound very Christian. So, people, if you have to have a concert and people hear the name, they will maybe come because Invader it suits a metal band. It doesn't sound very Christian. And then it was like mortification as well. Mortification, it sounds like it has something to do with a mortuary, but actually it means to be purified, to be, when you purified metals and stuff, it's a process kind of thing. It's not nothing to do with a mortuary. So I'm sure that name also drawed some people to go, and then they find out later only that's the Christian band. So I thought Invader it'll draw people that's not saved and come to your concerts and all that kind of things. And also my scripture is Matthew 11 verses 12, which says, since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom suffer violence, and the violent take it by force, which mean we have to go and take the kingdom. Now, a lot of Christianity, this lukewarm Christianity is just defense. They defend all the time, and you cannot win a war if you only defend all the time. You have to attack and take dominion and take territory and take power. And you got all the power. We got the power of God. So I decided to do that. I thought Invader was a very good name. Like with when I started jamming in the beginning with Nigel and Brian, Faith Force, no. Invader was the name, and that is the one that I chose. And so I released my first demo in 1994. Okay, so that is how Invader basically started. Now, I did a whole lot of demo tapes before I did studio recordings. So I'm going to go this far, and then the next video I'm going to talk about how I did the demo tapes, each one of them, and I'm going to explain that a bit. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for showing interest into Invader. Please go ahead and like this and hit that subscribe button. God bless you. Stay on track for Jesus. Stay in the light, and make the difference between heaven and hell. God bless you. Goodbye.